And after 21 days and 23 games, Pakistan has won another match. Exactly 3 weeks after Pakistan beat Sri Lanka. If you would have told me that day that we wouldn't win another match for 3 weeks, I would have told you to buzz off. But here we are. Welcome to the Shiny Side Cricket Podcast. We're looking back at Pakistan's win over Bangladesh. And we have with us once again, Umair Qazi. Umair, what's the sentiment?
Yeah, finally, as you said, finally a win, finally a victory, feeling content.
Good. So kicking things off with the 33-second summary. So Bangladesh won the toss, put us in. Shaheen got a wicket in the first over, and we have them, I would say, tottering in 23 for 3. At which point there was an 80-run partnership, but it seemed like things may fall apart. But once we broke that partnership to a very innocuous shot of Iftikhar's bowling, Liton Das got out. Then Shaheen got Mahmudullah, Haris got Shakib, and next thing you know, they effectively were 201 all out. Once we went into bat, we had won the 128-run opening partnership. Fakhar and Zaman showed what we've been missing for a while, and Pakistan won the game in the 33rd over with 7 wickets, 35 seconds. So, Umair, what stood out for you?
Yeah, good game for Pakistan, good outcome. The bowling was very good today. The way Shaheen bowled initially, the way Mohammad Wasim bowled at the end. I wish we had bowled similar deliveries to the South African tailenders. It was the perfect Yorkers to the tail, and yeah, it was tough for the Bangladeshi batsmen out there.
Yeah.
And then the good thing was we also came out positive and tried to finish the game as early as possible. They could have finished it 3-4 overs earlier, but it's fine. And yeah, good to see Fakhar Zaman back finally. Good to see him firing. I've been wanting this since the first few games after the India game. I wish he had played, but yeah, he's the one who can make a difference in Pakistan's totals, and he needs to be there at the top. It's not like if anyone else is firing, right? So might as well have him out there.
So, I mean, Fakhar lasted what, 60? He lasted something like 74 balls. I think if Imam lasts 74 balls, he gets about 55. That doesn't really win you the game. But in this kind of chase, Fakhar playing 60 balls is amazing. Yeah. Starting at the toss, right? So since you mentioned Fakhar, Bangladesh opted to chase. That wasn't what we discussed yesterday. Your view was Bangladesh would want to bat first. Do you think they made a wrong call there?
No, I think it was the right call for them. I mean, Bangladesh, it would have been difficult for Bangladesh to chase any total on this pitch, I feel.
True.
So their best bet against Pakistan was to put up a total and then try and bowl Pakistan out. Yeah. And they tried that. But yeah, their batsmen have not been firing. Mahmudullah is the only one in form.
Yeah. So we saw 3 changes today. We saw Fakhar for Imam. We saw Osama for Shadab. That was kind of a half change because Osama kind of played anyway. And then we saw Agha Salman for Nawaz. It was a bit of a surprise. So I think the Fakhar to Imam thing, we've been calling it for a while, that made sense. The Agha Salman move, if it worked out or not, we don't know because he didn't bowl and he didn't bat. Having said that, what that does mean in terms of the balance of the side is we've gone away from Nawaz was potentially a better bowler, but not as strong a batsman, to Agha who's a bit better batsman. So maybe make the batting a bit stronger at the expense of our bowling somewhat. How do you see those 3 changes?
Yeah, see, Iftikhar is good for 10 overs, the way he's currently bowling. So that's fine, but I feel it's a risk. In the just before Osama even came on to bowl, he split the webbing in his right hand, went off bleeding, and that is exactly the kind of risk you run. If Osama was not there, then you would have had to have Agha and probably Saud Shakil bowl another 10 overs, which is a huge risk. So I would prefer, I get leaving Nawaz out. We talked about this in the preview. I would have preferred Hassan Ali. Play the 4 pacers, have Osama and Iftikhar and maybe Saud Shakil chip in with a spin. Iftikhar bowling really well, he got you 10 overs today, but he could easily get you 7-8 in any game. But I guess what Pakistan is trying to do is just probably strengthen their batting, especially with Shadab Nawaz both out. You have Agha at 7, because if Agha doesn't play at 7 and you play Hassan, then it's a very long game.
That's true. So I get that.
That's what Pakistan is trying to do, but it's risky on the bowling front.
Also, I guess while it is risky and we say that, I don't think Nawaz has really done a lot to. So now when I say it is a step down theoretically, as a bowling option to go from Nawaz to Agha Salman, I'm not sure how much the downside is at this on current form, right? Because we haven't seen Agha ball, and I wish we had seen a ball a little bit today, because you would have been able to in a better position to answer that question. But Nawaz again hasn't done much with the ball, so it's a hard one
Yeah,
to.
but see, with the bat, I feel both Shadab and Nawaz have done enough.
Yeah.
Against Netherlands, we were 180 for 6 when Nawaz and Shadab came to bat. They took us to 280. Even against South Africa, Shadab and Nawaz both contributed with 40 and 30 odds.
Yeah.
So that is we're going to miss that, and which is why we need Agha at 7. But then it's a risk. If one of your bowlers gets injured, then who.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, Agha is a decent bowler, but I don't know. Maybe he can get you 4 or 5 overs, not more than that.
So I guess we have to talk about Shaheen at the top, right? Shaheen in taking a wicket in the first over and 2 in the power play, and Haris also taking 1, even though we don't necessarily love him in the power play. But I think what's also important to talk about here is Shaheen got a wicket, but he didn't really get it the way he normally gets it in the first over. This wasn't a full pitch swinging delivery. It's much more of the short of a length kind of delivery, which he set the batsman up with, right? So it's refreshing to see how Shaheen is. I mean, he's taken him a few games, sure, but he's managed to adjust his method and come out successful today.
Look, he's a champion bowler, and every time he has been looking down and out or looking out of form, it takes him a few games, but he comes back strongly. And he's a star, man. He bowled really well today.
Yeah, and I think the other person we have to talk about is Mohammad Wasim Jr., right? So he's now given us 2 solid games in a row. I think we spoke at the beginning of the tournament whether he should be there, and essentially he had a couple of bad warm-up games and a bad game in the Asia Cup, so somehow Hassan Ali got ahead of him in the pecking order. But he's clearly class. He's been with the squad for the last couple of years, and he's generally performed well, averages 27 or so, right? So, and watching him reverse swinging towards the end and finishing up the tail was just unbelievable to watch.
That was just amazing. Amazing. I just wish he had done it against South Africa.
Yeah. In terms of our inning, right, just one more thing on that, our bowling, I guess it may seem like we're picking on Babar's captaincy, but when you, in this kind of game where you have the team 5 down for not too many, the fact that he went ahead and finished Osama's and Iftikhar's overs, and we finished with, I think, about 5 overs left of the quicks. It seems like maybe he could have attacked a bit more in the middle of the innings and taken a risk with at least one of those 2, right?
Yeah, he definitely should have. I feel he should have brought Shaheen at least. But earlier, when Shaheen came back for his second spell, when he bowled Mahmudullah, bowl him. Give him another 1 or 2 overs.
Like I get it. Maybe don't bowl both of them out. I get it. You want to get the overs out, right?
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, absolutely.
So because you can bank on bowling them out by the 48th over, 47th over, which you were able to do quite easily.
Yeah, it's fine. Exactly. Yeah.
And moving on with the bat. So how I mean, Fakhar was batting as if he's never left. Again, I'm not sure if the rest did him good, whether we dropped him too soon. We never know the answer to that question, right? But how good was him to see him and Abdullah together in tandem batting, actually?
Look, it was amazing to see Fakhar the way he batted. And no matter how weak you're bowling, if you're going to hit any bowling attack for 7, 8 sixes, it is an amazing performance. And that was the best part. And he's looking good. And I just hope he can take this form into the bigger games against New Zealand and England.
Yeah. And so I guess in terms of what that means for Pakistan, right? So the big question is, what do we have to do to qualify? Our run rate's improved a bit. I still think beating New Zealand's, Australia's run rate is a bit of a stretch, as is South Africa. So I think the non-NRR way of qualifying still is we win both our games, and then New Zealand also loses to South Africa tomorrow and to Sri Lanka at some point. That's I won't say the easy way, but it's a simple way. It's simple to explain.
That's the simplest route. And
anything else involves NRR, which is just complicated. At this point, it's very unlikely, in spite of today, for Pakistan to overtake South Africa or New Zealand or Australia on NRR. So that's where we are. Yeah. But before we move on to tomorrow's game, Umair, there's a lot happening in the news, right? Where our cricket board has been making us proud, and I say that sarcastically in terms of all news coming out in the media. So do you want to quickly share with the audience what's been up?
Yeah, the PCB is a circus. I cannot believe that Zaka Ashraf is coming on TV and giving interviews and then sending screenshots of messages of his COO with 2 journalists, supporting them, and then apology. It's a mess what is going on. And I don't understand, like, theek hai, World Cup chal raha hai, theek hai, team haar gayi hai, just play it out till the end. You've got 9 games, you've lost 4. If Pakistan wins the next 2, they'll have 5 wins and 4 losses. So 5, you've more wins than losses. It's okay. I mean, the campaign is not over yet. So just wait it out. I don't know what's going on. But then I think the bigger story is this Inzamam ul Haq's resignation, right? He resigned as chief selector after meeting Zaka Ashraf yesterday. And the speculation is about this company that apparently Inzamam owns with a agent of the players. So let me just put some facts on the table, right? So Tala Rahmani is quite a smart individual. He's a Mehran University engineer, graduated from Mehran University. He went to Carnegie Mellon on a Fulbright scholarship, did robotics engineering, came back to Pakistan and set up a company called Saya Corporation. That was set up as a sports technology firm. I'm not exactly sure what sort of sports technology they've developed and what work they do. But one of their other business lines is a talent management agency for sports players. And they represent a number of Pakistani players, a number of global sportsmen as well. They represent Babar Azam, Fakhar Zaman, Mohammad Rizwan, Shaheen Afridi, Hassan Ali, Shadab, Nawaz, like 70, 80% of the current Pakistan team. They also represent a number of emerging cricketers. Saim Ayub is one of those. And they've been representing people like Shadab from well before he even made his international debut, since the times of the PSL.
Sure.
So they've been around for 8-10 years as a talent. And as a talent management agency, they help the players in not only negotiating their contracts with the board, which a players association does in other countries, but we don't have one. So they do that, and they also assist the players in getting deals with commercial deals with sponsors, advertisers, getting them to become brand ambassadors of different products and tying them up with different companies. Talha Rahmani also took Babar Azam and Rizwan to Harvard for that sports management course earlier this year. So that is what Talha Rahmani does as Saya Corporation. Okay. Now, the company that has come out where all the speculation is coming out from is called Yazoo International, separate company set up in the UK, set up in 2020. The shareholders of Yazoo International, let's say the three partners, are Talha Rahmani, Inzamam ul Haq, and Mohammad Rizwan. Now, this company was set up in 2020. Online, it says it's an e-commerce online retailer. Somewhere I read it's a sports investment firm. So it was set up in 2020 to do some sort of business. I don't know what, whether it was e-commerce. I have a feeling, a gut feeling that it was set up to probably bid or buy one of the PSL franchises, or maybe one of the franchises in some other T20 league. That's what I feel. I could be wrong. But yeah, it has nothing to do with talent management. Inzamam at that time was not associated with the board. He had no position on the board. He partnered with Talha Rahmani. Mohammad Rizwan was an active player for Pakistan.
Yeah.
This is what they're saying is a conflict of interest. Now, this company, Yazoo, is not managing any players. If you knew about this, why did you make Inzamam ul Haq chief selector?
Only last month, right? He was appointed in August, I mean, yeah.
Exactly. And what these journalists are claiming is that because of this partnership between Rizwan, Inzamam, and Talha Rahmani, and because Talha Rahmani represents these 8-10 cricketers, they're influencing the selection of players. And Inzamam is sort of facilitating that. I mean, I think it's very far-fetched to claim this. And Inzamam resigned out of him saying that I've done nothing wrong. You go investigate, and I'm going, and you figure it out what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that as messy a situation as the journalists have made it out to be. Let's see what comes out of it.
Yeah.
There is anywhere in the world you will find a talent management agency representing a number of players.
Yeah.
And you will also find many footballers and many other global sports professionals in partnership with their talent manager in a real estate deal or another business. It's very common. So what the PCB is trying to do in trying to restrict a talent agent having one or two, I mean, come on, man, let people do business, let people play.
And if I can look for example closer to home, MS Dhoni owned a stake in a talent management company which managed Suresh Raina, RP Singh, and a couple of other people about 10 odd years ago, right? Jadeja, yes, exactly, right. And then I think one of the guys who owned it also was on the board or the chairman of the CSK franchise as well, right? So the point is, I mean, look, ethically, is there a question mark? Definitely, there could be a question mark. We wait for it to come out. But I don't think the PCB also has strong corporate governance laws, right? So the question also becomes, has Inzamam violated a rule and is he lied in his contract? He probably hasn't. Even if you get the ethical conversation, but you need to have the right laws in place for to be able to deal with this.
Absolutely.
also, if I can just add here one more thing, right? The most important thing, even if all the allegations are true, this is not the way for the PCB to deal with this. Zaka Ashraf, chairman, आके ARY पे interview दे रहे हैं, one of the most notorious journalists, जो सारा मसाला के लिए crave करता है, उसको interview दे रहे हैं जिस ताकि players के ऊपर attention जाए, World Cup खत्म होने से पहले उनकी basically जान छोड़े. That's what all this is actually.
Abysmal, man, abysmal. I mean, this is just so unprofessional.
And even the channel that's showing this, right? I mean, they need to know better, right? But again, right, this is a really messy space because I mean, this channel पे ये दिखाए जा रहे हैं उनकी affiliated team से Babar Azam used to be part of which he left. So I feel like that channel generally उनका एजेंडा थोड़ा सा होता है बाबर के खिलाफ. इनफैक्ट अगर आप वो चैनल ज्यादा देखें तो आपको लगेगा कि शोएब मलिक जो थे वो एक क्रिकेट के ग्रेट होते थे और बाबर आजम एक मामूली प्लेयर है, राइट? सो यू नीड टू टेक ऑल ऑफ दोस nuances into account to understand कि इस वक्त हो क्या रहा है narrative wise. But anyway, we like to stick to the cricket, but this had to be addressed. We had a lot of people also messaging asking what is happening here. So there we are. Tomorrow, there's actually purely as a neutral, it's a super exciting game coming up. And also, it affects us in Pakistan, right? So tomorrow, South Africa take on New Zealand in Pune. Let's look at the likely 11s before we get into other stuff. So in terms of South Africa, I imagine they will bring, I imagine Rabada would come back in anyway, assuming he's fit. And it'll be a choice between Shamsi versus Kudza. I imagine against New Zealand, they might want to play Shamsi. I'm not sure if you have a different view on that, Umair.
I think Kudzi's been their best pacer. So I feel he will play for sure. If they want to play Shamsi against New Zealand, they'll maybe instead of Ngidi or Rabada. But if Rabada's fit, he's a shoo-in. So maybe instead of Ngidi, I'm not sure.
So you're saying it's between Shamsi and Ngidi, you're saying essentially, right? One of them will play.
I would think so because Kudzi, he also bats a bit.
So he makes the tail shorter.
And I feel he's been their best pacer in the World Cup so far.
Okay. And New Zealand, as far as you're concerned, so essentially, I mean, Ferguson was injured in the last game. So if he's not fit, Saudi might come in. Otherwise, I don't see them making any changes.
Yeah. Although Nisham replaced Chapman, who was injured.
So that's a good question. I don't think you can drop Nisham anymore, right? So you can maybe if Chapman has to come back in, you have to. But also, I feel like given the slot he plays at, I feel like a lot of people can bat in New Zealand for 4-5, but maybe at number 7. I think very few can do what Nisham has done. I mean, he won them an ICC semi-final in the T20 World Cup 2 years ago, right? So he's clearly that player.
No, he's exceptional.
But how are you looking at this game? How do you? I mean, obviously, for Pakistani fans are hoping that there's a massive win for South Africa. But how do you see? Who do you think is favorite?
That's what we want. I think South Africa is slight favorites, but I think it will also depend on the toss. If South Africa bat first, they're definitely favorites. But if New Zealand bat first, then we know South Africa are nervous chasers. So it'll be tough for South Africa then. So I think it's a more balanced game if New Zealand bat first. But I think, I don't know. I don't know actually what is New Zealand's strength. I think chasing is their strength.
I think in New Zealand is they kind of generally do average. They never they don't have a weakness per se, right? So if they bat first, they will probably still get to 260 to 70 minimum to like 320, 330 maybe, right? But to be honest, New Zealand, except for beating England, they haven't really beaten a major test playing nation so far, right? So they beat Afghanistan, they beat Bangladesh, and they beat Netherlands.
Yeah, that's true.
And they beat England after that. So otherwise, they lost to India.
Right now, England is looking like an associate team as well. So
that's true, right? So yeah, that doesn't seem like such a big achievement anymore. But who's your money on for tomorrow?
Oh man, South Africa. I mean, I just want South Africa to win, and I want them to crush them. So they drop their run rate from like 1.2 to 0.
I think we're hoping for De Kock and Klaassen to come together tomorrow. But let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes, yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Before we finish up, Umair, there's a matter of a quiz. And today's quiz is about New Zealand and South Africa. So in the 2015 ODI World Cup semi-final, New Zealand beat South Africa as Grant Elliott hit a 6 from the bowling of Dale Steyn. Sorry, this is a mistake. It's not in the 50th over, it was in the final over, it was 43rd over, but you know what I'm talking about. How many balls to spare did New Zealand win by?
I think the 6 was hit of the 4th delivery. Wait, 1 second. 4th or 5th delivery, man.
I mean, I only put this question up because I knew you were on the show today because it's a tough question. You kind of got it. I guess you were close, right? So they needed 5 off 2 when he hit that 6.
Yeah. I was trying to recall the entire over. I think it started with Vittori hitting a boundary
To find leg or
down to
something like
third
that.
man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think left-handed. I think it was
Yes,
third
true,
man.
true.
And then yeah, I was just trying to remember whether it was fourth or fifth delivery. That's what
Yeah.
I recall. But yeah,
So,
what a game, what a
yeah,
win.
and when I saw the scorecard, I didn't realize. I just thought Grant Elliott was the guy who finished it up, but he was also the top scorer. I didn't realize he scored 80
it
plus,
was
not out.
60. Oh, 80. I was
80
thinking
plus, yeah,
60 something.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
For some reason, I remembered him coming in the end and he finished things off, but he was
Yeah.
actually the top scorer.
Was that the same game where he hit the bat
I
drop?
think it was the bat drop. That's why he did it for the first time. Since then, he's done it multiple times since then. But,
Yeah.
but what a moment
To
for
hit
New Zealand.
Steyn for a six like that, oh my God.
That was probably
Amazing.
their best moment in cricket, maybe this century, maybe. I mean, I know they played a final cinch, but they didn't have that defining moment or defining win in the semi-final last time around. So,
who did they beat in the? They beat India.
well,
in the
they beat
2019?
India. I guess they did. Yeah. So yeah, true.
I think Guptill's run out of Dhoni.
Run out of MS Dhoni was the defining moment. Yeah.
That was a very big moment as well.
True,
But
true.
no, I get it. Grant Elliott, six of Steyn, what a huge moment. There was a huge target as well.
Yeah,
it was 260 odd in like 42,
43 overs. Yeah, 43 overs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you for being on the show, Mer.
Thank you for having me again, Faris. I hope we do more shows where Pakistan wins.
Yes, I hope we have these smiles on our faces. But if you like what we just spoke about, please like the video, subscribe to our channel. And if you have any views on what Pakistan 11 should be going forward, please leave a comment or message us on Insta, Twitter, or Facebook. And we'll be back tomorrow night after the South Africa-New Zealand game. In the meantime, stay tuned to the shiny side.